And once you upgrade your baseline, it is psychologically agonizing to downgrade. Going from a Honda to a BMW feels great. Going from a BMW back to a Honda feels like a failure. It feels like you're losing status. It feels like you're going backward. So you fight tooth and nail to keep the upgrades, even if it means carrying credit card debt. You have trapped yourself in a cage of your own expectations. You have anchored your happiness to a price point that requires constant maximum effort to maintain. Let's talk about the convenience industrial complex, because this is where dual-income households bleed the most. When both people are working 40 or 50 hours a week, you are time poor but cash rich. The market knows this. The market has created an entire economy designed to sell you back your own time at a premium. You are too tired to cook, so you use DoorDash. That's 100% markup on food. You are too tired to clean, so you hire a maid. You are too tired to shop, so you pay for Instacart delivery. You are too tired to walk the dog, so you hire a walker. Essentially, you are taking your second salary and funneling a huge chunk of it into services that allow you to keep working the second job. It's a feedback loop. You work to pay for the convenience you need because you work. If you actually sat down and calculated the net income of the second job after subtracting the costs of daycare, convenience food, commuting, and the higher tax bracket, because remember, the second income is taxed at your highest marginal rate, you might find that one of you is working for $5 an hour. You are running a business with high revenue but zero profit margin. Now, you might be thinking, but Bobby, we need 2 cars. We need the house in the good school district. These aren't luxuries. And look, I get it. The economy has shifted to punish single-earner households. Housing prices have risen to match the purchasing power of dual-income families. But this brings us to the most dangerous aspect of the dual-income trap, the amplification of fixed expenses. When you go to a bank to get a mortgage, they look at your combined gross income. They don't look at your daycare costs. They don't look at your spending habits. They approve you for a house based on the assumption that both of you will work at your current peak earning capacity for the next 30 years. And because we're optimistic creatures, we buy the house at the top of that approval limit. We lock ourselves into a $4,000 mortgage that requires 2 incomes to service. We buy 2 new cars with $700 payments. Suddenly, our fixed burn rate, the money that goes out the door before we buy a single grape, is $6,000 or $7,000 a month. Here's what most people don't realize. By locking in fixed expenses that require 2 incomes, you have doubled your risk of bankruptcy. In the old days, and I'm not saying the old days were perfect, but the math was different. A family lived on 1 income. If the dad lost his job, it was a crisis. But if the mom wasn't working, she could enter the workforce to bridge the gap. There was a backup generator. There was slack in the system. In a modern dual-income family with high fixed costs, the backup generator is already running at full capacity just to keep the lights on. If one person loses their job, or gets sick, or burns out and needs to quit, the household collapses instantly. You cannot pay the mortgage on 1 salary. You cannot pay the car notes. You burn through your emergency fund in 3 months. You have 0 margin. You are driving a race car at 200 miles an hour with no brakes. You might feel rich because of the cash flow, but you are actually incredibly fragile because of the leverage. This is exacerbated by social comparison, or keeping up with the Joneses. The problem is that in 2025, the Joneses are also a dual-income couple drowning in debt. When you move into that nice neighborhood that your 2 incomes unlocked, you are surrounded by other people playing the same game. You see the renovations, the private schools, the Pelotons, the immaculate landscaping. It becomes the water we swim in. You start to believe that spending $10,000 on a family vacation is normal because everyone in your circle does it. You justify it as the experience economy. You tell yourself, we are buying memories. And sure, memories are great, but compound interest is better. If you blow $10,000 a year on vacations instead of investing it, over 30 years you have sacrificed nearly $1 million of future wealth. You bought a week at Disney World for the price of your retirement freedom. You are trading your future security for present-day Instagram posts.
So why does this happen?